Hello, sweet souls, and welcome to the Spiritual 9 to 5 podcast hosted by myself, Marie Groover of The Corporate Psychic. This episode is part 3 of Make Money Being Who You Are, and as promised, we will talk about how to choose or know you chose the right thing to work on, when you are on the right track, and how to develop the fortitude and support for yourself to forge ahead into the unknown continuously. This episode is a bit of a ramble, but it might be the juiciest of the 3 parts so far, and it gets deep. So let's get to it. When you have a good idea, quite possibly the idea, there will be a small voice inside your being that knows it. You will feel a whisper inside of you that this could be big. If you lean into it, you'll kind of know what to do. You might even get excited and start doing. Before we get ahead of ourselves, this small voice, this whisper, along with the excitement and the fear that arises, that's how you know that you could be choosing the right thing to work on, the right thing to monetize. And then, after the small voice, there will be many loud voices in your head and from the people around you that will say things like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking? No, now isn't the time. Here are all the reasons why this won't work. How could this be possible? If it were, someone else has probably already done it or is doing it right now. Why you?" And so you say something back like, "Okay, I want to do this, but maybe now isn't the right time. I'm going to plan, or I'll wait for X to happen and then I'll know. Then I'll try it." And then you think you're doing the right thing. And you'll think that you're making a compromise for yourself and for everyone around you and that it's a win-win, right? Maybe sometimes. But the vast majority of the time, wrong, dead wrong. There is no compromise on this one. There is no compromise on your dreams. It will never be the right time. Ask anyone who's had a baby. There are people who plan and people who don't plan. And regardless of whether you plan or not, you are never fully ready when the baby comes. You have a whole 9 months, but still, once that tiny human is in this world, it's go time. There's no, let's wait a couple of weeks for all of the conditions to be right. Let's wait a couple of weeks and see how we're feeling. Rather, it's, wait, how do they let me leave the hospital with this thing? I have to keep it alive. I don't know what I'm doing, but time is of the essence. Like, let's get this baby to eat or whatever it is, right? And the same is true when an idea comes to us, when a business comes to us, when a plan comes to us. Think of your ideas like babies. They do actually have souls as well, by the way. And no matter how ready you aren't. No matter how fruitful the conditions are, you are never going to be fully prepared, but you do anyways. You act anyways, and magic happens. Or you don't, or you wait because it isn't a human baby right in front of you, and you think you have the time to sort your life out in advance, and you think it's up to you or not how things will come together and who or what your idea will become. The thing is, the decisions that you don't want to make for yourself, the ones you push out and hold off, those are the ones that get made for you. And y'all, your dream life doesn't just fall in your lap. 100% of the time, it doesn't. Even to win the lottery, you have to play it. Nothing is a guarantee except when you don't choose, don't do, and don't show up. Then it's guaranteed not to happen. And I do believe in aligned timing. I believe that everything in my life has happened for me, has happened in the exact right timing to bring me right where I am today. And I also know that for aligned timing to be on point, I had to show up in every single moment that I chose to show up. I had to meet things where they were. I had to move, to act, to be, to do in and for my own self. I had to be flexible. This is important. I did not live my life hoping or expecting for Microsoft to recruit me. I leaned deeply into the things that I was interested in the moments I was interested in them. I decided to dedicate myself to my master's program in computer science, having no idea, not even having on my radar actually that Microsoft would one day reach out to me. I had an entirely different plan for me. The same is true when I started practicing tarot, when I started intentionally connecting with the Akashic Records. I just did. I didn't do it with TCP in mind. with my business in mind. I did it for me. I did it because I loved it so much that I couldn't not, and I needed people to read for beyond myself because I wanted to do everything I could to learn, not for profit, certainly not for a business. I've said this before that I would laugh at you if you told me a year ago today that I would be running a full-blown business on the side of my full-time job. A business with a basis in the spiritual, ethereal realms with the term psychic in the business name. No fucking way. No fucking way, my friend. I did not see this coming and I didn't even want this. I never wanted to run my own business. I did want to work for myself, yes. I wanted to become a writer or a speaker. Absolutely. Share my work with the world, totally. But like a business with a team and support and customers, no thank you. Corporate customers, no freaking way. I especially never wanted to be a coach. Oh my God. I literally remember a conversation with two dear friends. It was right after a hot yoga class, and we were all jazzed on yoga and life. And one of them was talking about stepping into coaching, and I was like, I don't want to do that. It's just not for me. Oh my gee, and with a psychic spin, I would have barfed in my mouth at this business idea a year ago. And yet, 4 weeks after this discussion with two of my dear friends, TCP was birthed. Like, this friend literally went out of town and she came back and I had a business. And we were all like, what the fuck? The thing is, when it came to me, I sat with it and realized, like, oh yeah, that makes total sense, actually. It makes total sense for me to do what I've already been doing, but to charge for it. I was already mentoring people in their careers. I was already reading for people and writing and integrating authentic self, plus the woo-woo into corporate spaces. And yet, there were a million reasons not to do this. Plus, a million reasons that this wasn't going to work or wasn't the right time or that this business was not for me in that moment. There were a million other things that I could have focused on. I could have reasoned and strategized my way right out of this one, but I heard the voice, the tiny whisper that this would be big. Not big as in $1 million business, by the way, but big as in big for me. It was declaring an integration of my full self to the work and to the world in a way that I had never done before. It was a full surrender. And it absolutely was, now that I look back on it, stepping into my writing, into my heart, into sharing my heart with the world, all of my heart uncategorized. And I should add this for all of you. TCP, my business, is not my forever. I already know this. I felt deeply when it came to be that it was something that I needed to do as a next step, not something that I needed to do for the rest of my life. This alone could have been a reason to back out. So many people back out of things, relationships especially, when forever isn't a promise. I have no fucking idea where this work will lead or what this is going to be or how my life is going to all come together, but I know that it will. And I'm going to keep showing up fully in every single moment while I have it because I knew and I know that this is something that I need to do for me. Just like starting this podcast, by the way, I didn't start the Spiritual 9 to 5 to market TCP or attract new clients or for any reason other than I knew I needed to. I wanted to. I heard the whisper. And I'm glad I listened because this has become one of my greatest joys, sharing and expressing the wisdom that comes from my heart, which I don't do with the corporate psychic, by the way. TCP is about you or your business, your idea, your relationships, whatever. And it's about pulling the wisdom from those places. Not to mention that I get to charge people money for doing what I want to be doing, for spending my time how I would want to be spending my time anyways. What a fucking magical co-creation with the unseen. You get to choose which voice you want to listen to. When an idea comes to you, when there is something you feel in your heart that you want to do, it's not going to be the loudest voice in the room. It won't. Stop waiting for it to be. When we have an idea, when we feel the spark of inspiration, when we hold on to a deep desire or a dream, that is spirit. That is your intuition speaking to you. Spirit, God, the universe, your intuition, your gut, your guides, all the things that we don't see. Just like your ideas are not able to be seen until they are created. And for all intents and purposes of this episode, these things are all the same. In that, spirit does not yell at you. It doesn't ever tell you what you need or should do. And especially until you hone in on it and get really good at listening, it will almost always be the quietest voice in your being. It's only when you tune into it does it get louder. If any of you out there pray, like for even the people that don't believe in God or prayer or a higher power or the universe or anything spiritual, I know there's still a few of you who have gotten into a pickle and been like, oh God, I don't know if you exist or not, but if you do, please can you do this one thing for me? And for those of you that do pray regularly to God, to the universe, to yourself, those of you who speak into existence out loud the things that you want, have any of you ever gotten an immediate, clear, and loud voiced response that said, hello, don't worry, I've got you. That thing that you want, I'm working on it right now. Has that ever happened to you? Loudly? Hell no. If it has, please send me an email right now. I want to hear the story. But I haven't heard of anybody saying this, right? Stop waiting for the quiet voice to get louder while you simultaneously focus on the loud voices and loudly declare back to the universe that you aren't listening, because you are already compromising, already doing or focusing on something else. Waiting for the thing you want to happen or come together for you will never, ever happen without intention, focus, doing, listening, and or co-creating with it. There is no right time to listen to your ideas. And if that didn't hit home, I'll add this. Tomorrow is not a guarantee. In my intake form for the VA role, I asked everyone what they would do if they were going to die in 6 months. If the work you are doing today isn't the work that you'd be doing if you were dying, then you probably aren't listening to the little voice. You might be a little off track. I would even go as far to say that you might not be as happy as you could be. And no, I'm not saying that working at Microsoft would be at the very top of my list if I were going to die in 6 months. I'm not saying that I wanted anybody to answer in the TCP application, by the way, that working for me would be what they would want to be doing either. If I were going to die in 6 months, I would maybe or maybe not quit my job. Depends on my need for funds and insurance, right? But I would keep doing the work that I'm doing right now. I would keep recording podcasts. I would read deeply. I would reflect. I would write my fucking heart out, probably try to get published. Read for people, mentor people, work with people, spend time with loved ones, and ensure that in every single moment of every day, I was actively choosing to be in those moments. Because tomorrow is not a guarantee, even if you only have 6 months to live. Okay. So I need to add another layer to this and get back on track. We can't expect our dreams to fall into our laps, and we can't expect tomorrow or rely on next month, next year, or the right time to also fall into our laps. And yet there is divine timing. So like, you might be wondering, how the F do I build a business based on an idea if even tomorrow isn't a guarantee? What's the point in showing up today if tomorrow might not be here? And if my business might fail anyways? And this is the $1 million question, because there are no guarantees. So what is the point? The point is this: that tiny voice in your head, the ideas that come to you, the feelings, the desires, or inclinations that pull very gently at your being, those are the things that will lead you to who you are. And who you are will lead you to your mission, your values, your worth, your vision, your confidence, pleasure and fun beyond your wildest dreams. It will lead you to a place of undisputed origin of self, where there is no need for shame, because you are true and authentic and whole. And it's so fucking fun and it feels so fucking good. And no, it's not all butterflies and roses, but hot damn, it is fulfilling. No, we don't have any control over outcomes, so we don't do for outcomes. We do for ourselves, because that's all we have. And when we do this, we not only become whole, but we become magnetic. This is how you manifest. This is how you attract what you most want, by the way. This is how you make your $1 million painting or singing or writing or fucking working at a desk, balancing finances, or walking across the Himalayas, or engineering power lines, or working at Microsoft or any company, or whatever the fuck it is that you want to do wherever you want to be doing it. You do it for yourself. because you believe in yourself, you trust yourself to follow through, because you are all you have, and everything else around you in your life that you think is your safety net could all disappear and fall away at any moment. But you are with yourself until the end. So how do you make money being yourself? You be yourself. Listen to the small voice, the one that scares and excites you, and then bring your whole fucking self to whatever it is that you do with the small voice. And if that means starting a business, start your business. Go all in. If that means being a nurse or an engineer or a professor or a priest, go all in. If that means writing a book or taking care of a dying parent, go, write, be there. Fill yourself with gratitude. Don't let yourself get complacent. And by fucking geese, stop listening to the opinions of other people. Listen to your heart. And when you get bored, when you get scared, when you aren't sure if what you're doing is it anymore, when you've lost motivation, or when you've let the loud voices leak in, keep going. Find the small voice again. Lean into it when you hear it. And live in each small moment. Live fully. Give 100% of yourself and stop doing shit that you don't want to be doing anymore, so that you have the space and the time and the fortitude to show up in what you do want to be doing. In the words of Yana Robinson, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a no. So listen to the yeses, to only the yeses, follow them, and do the things that you want to do. When you show up fully in only what you want, momentum will build, and it will become easier to trust in the unknown. It will become easier to trust in yourself in the unknown, and it will be easier to ignore the loud voices in and around you. There is no right time to listen to your heart and follow through with action. There's no right time to do what you want to be doing, to be who you truly are, to live in the small moments with undisputed origin, free of shame, full of confidence, because you are your safest asset. So if you want to make money being yourself, no matter how ready you aren't. Do anyways, and allow the magic to happen. If you want specific coaching or to deepen in this conversation, I invite you to join me for Monetize Your Purpose, February 7th, 8th, and 9th of 2022, this month right now. It's a 3-day masterclass activation, and I would love to hear your ideas, your progress, your fears, and your roadblocks, and to make progress on your dreams together. Email the word monetize to hello@thecorpspsychic.com for free registration. When you have a good idea, quite possibly the idea, there will be a small voice inside your being that knows it. Listen to this voice. Allow yourself, your true self, to come through. You already know what to do, and I can promise you that you won't regret it. Thank you for listening to the Spiritual 9 to 5 podcast with myself, Marie, from the Corporate Psychic. Save and follow for more wisdom. I also invite you to follow me on Instagram at the Corp Psychic, and I would love for you to join our community. It's called TCP Community and Courses, and you can find it on Mighty Networks. And if you want to go big on you, reach out. I want to work with you. Wherever you are, whatever is on your mind, I hope to meet again, maybe in the next episode right here. I'm honoring you, and with gratitude, good day.